First half of UNLV was rough. They gashed us a couple times, and they were kind of doing what they wanted to do, running the ball wise. Our defense made good adjustments in the second half, was able to get them stopped. Our front asked Shave and Miley to stop moving the front so much, and they felt like they could just big boy them, and they did that in the second half. They had 375 yards of rushing offense and only 75 in the second half. So I think that's a testament to our front seven for stepping up and nobody putting their head down and quitting on the game. I think statistically they tried to throw the ball 30 times. I think they had 30 attempts for 85 yards. And I don't know about y'all, but that was a dominant performance by our secondary. So I'm proud to be part of that group. And, Coach Juice preaches it all the time, that we got to be dominant and take over games. And I felt like we did that as a secondary. So I'm very proud of our guys, especially doing so with the injuries that we had. Boise State's offense got a good quarterback, Brett Rippon. I'm seeing that they're rotating to more of a dual threat guy. I can't even remember his name. Kozart, yeah, good player too. Tight end is good. Running back is solid, and they got a really good receiver in Cedric Wilson. So I think it'll be a good matchup for us, and they're going to try to sling the ball around the yard, and I think it'll be fun for our defense.
So it was the kind of the front's idea to the coaches to just let us just do that? I mean, is that part of discussion you've heard before in different games and things down?
Yeah, so we just felt like we were moving our fronts too much, maybe slanting a little bit too much, and our front and their credit to their offensive line, they were doing a good job of taking advantage of that and washing. But we asked them just to play more straight up, and they said that they'd be able to handle it, and they did a great job.
What is the mentality of a guy like you to have a team rush for 300 yards? What did you think going to the locker room, or what were you thinking?
We got to stop the run. I mean, as a safety, being the deepest guy, it's not necessarily my job. We talk about doing our 111th, and if I am part of the run fit, then my job is to be there. And I didn't do my job. I didn't tackle very well throughout the game, and I got to clean that up. But in regards to the ball not getting to the second level, the only time I can really affect that is blitzing, and I didn't really have many opportunities with that. So, yeah.
This will be another big test for your special teams, which is pass with flying colors this year. Avery Williams and Cedric Wilson are both really good returners. So, how fun is this going to be for both special team coverage units?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of really good returners this year, and I think our special teams unit has responded each time. I think it was against Wake Forest, especially. We really emphasized it, and they had a really good returner, and our whole teams did a great job of corralling him and was able to keep him in check. And I think this dude's taken 2 back to the house this year, and he's a good returner, so it'll be a good challenge for us and it'll be fun for us.
How many special teams are you on?
One right now.
Which one?
Punt.
Punt?
Yep.
When you're punting the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that a potential turning point in the season at halftime in Las Vegas, where if you let a third straight one get away, who knows what could happen after that, but now it feels like you've got a little momentum going.
Yeah, we're back to 500. I wouldn't necessarily say a turning point because each week you got to go out and win, and but I do think that it helped us get a lot of momentum. Our offense did an awesome job, put up 52 points, and that was even with a couple turnovers. And testament to them to be able to continue to score like that all game. That's hard to do. I do think that it gave us, a little mojo, maybe a little bit of confidence that we can come back from behind. We did it against BYU, and we just did it against UNLV. So, it's a testament to our team and who we are and our coaches about not quitting and not looking and pointing the finger, just looking internally and figuring it out ourselves.
And the offense picked up you guys in the first half with the long plays, the special teams, the two returns really helped too. I mean, so it ends up being a team win when you can put what you guys did together in the second half to slow them down too.
Yeah, it's a team game, and Coach Wells talks about it. If we got to win 3-0, then we got to win 3-0, and that's part of being a team. And if we got to win 49-48, then we got to win 49-48, and the offense has to do that for us. So, that's what makes this game so beautiful. You got to have both sides of the ball play well, and as well as special teams.
What's your memories of last year's Boise State game? It was kind of a frustrating game for the Aggies in a lot of ways because you really stopped them. They threw the fake. They got the one fake play on you for one pass, and I mean you kind of really played good the whole football game, or played well right with them, and just couldn't get over the top in that thing. It was a close game, really.
Yeah, it was. I think the ending score was 21-10 or something like that. I just think that we, it's the same situation. If we are only able to put up 10 points, then we got to hold them to 9, and vice versa. We just have to win. That's the bottom line. They're a good team, and they're going to come in and give us everything that they got. They're going to remember coming down here 2 years ago, and I think it'll be a great test for us.
Coach Wells talked a lot about depth after the game, and there's no secret you guys have suffered a lot of injuries this year. That's going to happen when you play eight straight games without a bye week. But the depth really showed through against UNLV. You've been in the program for 3 years now. Do you feel you guys are quite a bit deeper than you were when you first arrived, all the way around?
Yeah. Like you said, it's a physical game, and that's going to happen. And guys will miss a week here or there, and all we can do is just get them back as soon as possible. But the depth does give us an opportunity to have those guys go down and not have a drop off at all, or if, in the slightest. And I think it just allows us to be more aggressive and know that even if we do, whether it's need a rest or we need to, have a little cramp or something like that, we don't stress or worry about it. We know somebody else is going to come on the field and do their job.
I thought we played pretty well as an offense. We started slow, but we only stopped ourselves, really. I thought the whole game, if our drive didn't end in points, it was on us, mainly in a touchdown. It was basically just us not executing well enough. I was really happy with the way that our offensive line played and the running backs ran. It felt like everybody ran hard. Special teams did a good job getting us in good field position a lot of the game. And the defense, turned the ball over a couple times, and we took advantage of that to the best of our ability. So that was a pretty good game for us. Pretty happy with the way we played, and it was nice to connect on some long passes that we could just run down the field and celebrate instead of having to grind out 11-play drives. So, but 11-play drives are fun too. That was nice to do too. So, good game. Boise State this week, going to be a good one. They're a very good defense. They've been very good at getting to the quarterback all year, so that'll be a good matchup for us, I think. Getting us in the right guys. They blitz a lot, but I think they'll only get to 4. They only really bring 4 people when they blitz. They'll drop somebody and bring somebody else, so they try to confuse you that way. So, be a lot of film study this week. Hopefully, I can figure it out before Tuesday, really, so we can get good practice at picking up their blitzes and reading the defense. So by the time Saturday rolls around, we'll be good to go.
Is the way they blitz, is that similar to kind of how the USU defense blitzes?
I think it'd be pretty similar. I haven't really watched too much film on them yet. I've been trying to recap the last game, and Monday afternoon's really when we start really getting into it as a unit. So if you'd ask me that tomorrow, I could answer that better, but right now I don't know.
Obviously, we'd like to hear from players of what. You had played with Jordan Love
Sure.
all year, but to start the game with him, and it just seemed like it was no problems at all. I know you'd worked all week with him and things like that and this stuff, but it just looked like, and your feelings about how he played and stuff with the offense.
He played great. Jordan played absolutely phenomenal. I think he was player of the week or whatever for the conference. So he played very, very well. And as far as the feeling of who's behind me, so, in practice, most of the time I don't even know who's behind me. But in the game, it was nice to have someone and to stick with it. And so he did a really good job. And I think that, when receivers catch the ball, it makes anybody look good. So they made him look great, and he made some great throws. And I think we just played very well as a unit together, and he did a good job in leading us.
You were back to kind of your original 5 guys in this.
We
game
were,
for
yeah,
the most
yeah.
part.
Sean came back,
Did
yeah.
that, I mean, has that been a difference in the last couple of games where you haven't had the 5? What do you think, Quinn?
I think that we never really stepped off. I think we kept playing at a very high level when Sean had his injury and he was getting better, and I think that Mick came in and did a phenomenal job for us at right guard, and Rob really stepped up at right tackle. I think we've got a very talented group, and so when one guy's down and somebody else comes in, I don't think we really missed a beat. But when Sean came back, it was just kind of normal the way that we've been doing it, and so that, I don't know, it was just familiarity, I guess. But
Grading-wise, are you guys stepping it up every single game, do you feel like? Better
I think
the longer you play together?
I think as a unit, we're consistently playing better individually and as a unit. So, it takes, if one offensive lineman misses his job, then all 5 of us look bad, right? And that's been happening less and less as the season's gotten along. We're all fairly, it's week 9 or week 8, whatever it is now. So we're pretty well established and we're feeling good, and we're getting better and better every week, hopefully. You think your last game that you played was your best game of your career, and hopefully the next game's even better than that, and I think it will be. So we've been getting prepared well.
When you guys really do deserve a lot of credit as the offensive line. You guys did a phenomenal job protecting Jordan Love. But Boise State's pass rush is a whole different beast for UNLV. So how much of a litmus test will this be for you guys as an offensive line?
I think will be our best test all year, and I'm excited for it. You want to play against the best, and you hope that all their guys are healthy because, I don't want to play against Boise State's backups. We want to play against their starters and want to see what they can do and show them what we can do. So it's exciting.
You say they blitz a lot. Is that the reason why they're so hard to run against? Because they're always doing that, and everybody always associates blitz with pass and going after the quarterback.
Sure.
But they're great against the run.
Yeah, they are, and I think that not to say that it's what they do will affect us so much, but if we just do our job and trust our technique and play with great effort, then it won't matter if they're blitzing or if they're dropping back. If we get in our right area and block the guy we're supposed to, Lawan's going to hit the hole, El Toro's going to hit the hole, and we'll be fine.
But do you think because of their style, maybe that's lent to their great rushing defense besides?
I think so, yeah.
getting the
I think
quarterback?
what they do, the way they blitz and all that kind of stuff, really helps them stop the run and really helps them as a whole defense. And I think the main thing is that they play very hard. They're a bunch of it's a hard-working defense. You don't see them taking plays off or loafing. So I think effort covers up a lot of errors.
Is 98 always lined up right on top of you or either side? You've seen enough film to know that? Or,
For Boise State?
yeah, 98?
I don't know, no. Like I said, as soon as this is over, I'm going to get lunch and start watching the film. So
Do most teams always have somebody right over the center?
it just depends. If they're in an odd front, yeah, they'll have someone on me. If they're an even front, no. Like Wisconsin had someone right on me the whole game. BYU had someone right on me the whole game. San Jose State, very rarely. It just depends. It just depends what their scheme is. If they're running a 3 down, then yeah, someone will be right on top of me the whole game.
As a center, would you rather go right against somebody, or do you like to move and go?
Depends what kind of play we're
Yeah,
running.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
As an offensive lineman in that last game, you guys rushed for 150-ish yards, average 6 yards a carry, something like that. How gratifying was it as an offensive lineman to help get that part of the offense going on Saturday?
Feels good. Lawan Hunt was given one of the game balls because he had a great game. And, if you can have a running back get a game ball, you kind of pat yourself on the back a little bit, but then you forget about it and just work for the next game.
Does the team have a number goal for rushing yards in a game, or yards per carry or anything like that?
Yeah, we want to rush for over 5 yards carry, 4 yards carry.
Well, the numbers are there. If we run 40 times, we usually win the football game.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Yard rushing.
you having fun?
I'm having a blast, living the dream.
Playing playing all the time rather than always just
Feel,
practicing.
it feels good to play all the time, and it feels good to win too. So it's been a good year.
Really proud of our guys in the UNLV game for overcoming two 14-point deficits. Vegas was running the ball on us. We turned it over twice on offense and handed them short fields. Credit to them for taking advantage of those turnovers at midfield and turning them into touchdowns. And there were a few points there in the first half where we could have folded. We could have kind of gone in the tank like we did against Wake Forest. And so that I'm not going to hide from the fact I think some of our guys grew up. We had some guys go out with injuries, which is obviously part of the game, but we lost our, two of our best players, Tarver and Davis, very early in the game. It would have been easy to kind of go in the tank a little bit, but we didn't. Hats off to Jordan Love, not only in his first start playing very well and I thought very efficient. He was stingy with the ball, but, you're starting your first game on the road and you have a 14-point deficit and you lose your best wideout. Could be easy to kind of go in the tank, and he did not. Dax Raymond responded like Dax always does, but we had some other wideouts step up. Braylon Roberts, I thought, played his best game of the year. He was very physical and caught the ball well, had one drop. He ran down on kickoff, filled in for Tarver. Savon Scarver showed up and played well in his hometown. I know that was important for him to play well in front of his fans, his friends, a lot of family members there for Savon, and so I'm happy for him. Played well in the kickoff return game as well. But I was just proud of our guys. They just hung in there, and we hit some plays, got it back to even at halftime. We had played not bad but horrible on defense, run defense. I thought our defense responded in the second half, and the offense basically just picked up where it left off. And some games are going to be like that. You're not going to have your best game on one side of the ball, and the other side needs to pick it up and win. Again, another strong outing, complete win by our special teams. And both return units, our kickoff coverage was outstanding again. And so all-around good win. I've always said it's hard to win on the road. It's 2 conference wins on the road. And apparently we need to learn to win at home in the conference. So big game, Boise State coming to town. Everybody knows how I've always felt about Boise. I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. I've always made the comments at Media Day, and I mean them, and I've said them in these press conferences, that the road to the championship goes through Boise. We've got 2 losses in the league, so I understand where that puts us in the race. But to me, they are, they're who everybody's shooting for in the league. So they will absolutely get our best shot, our coach's best shot, our players' best shot, and hopefully they'll get our fans' best efforts too Saturday night. So they are on a roll. They've won 3 in a row. They're very confident. They're playing 2 QBs, probably better than I've ever seen somebody play 2 QBs. I don't know how Brian does it. He does it. He's managed both of them very well. And they're getting a lot of good play from number 3 and number 4. And I'm sure they're good teammates, and it's all working. And it's neat to see. It's not neat to see. Yes, it is. I mean, I'm a quarterback guy. It's a really nice job of him having a package for 3 and package for 4. Then they had a package for both of them. And so as you study those cut-ups, interesting to see what they do with them. And they've done a nice job. And there's, 22 is another real tailback at Boise State. And really good player, Cedric Wilson, has home run ability every time he touches the ball. David Moa, I think, is one of the best D linemen in this league. I've always thought that. 53 and 8 are legit elite pass rushers in the Mountain West. They've got 2 brand new linebackers inside, 38 and 58. And, we've played against Weaver and Vallejo and all those guys. These 2 guys are legit players. They're not missing a beat at inside linebacker. Andy Avalos does a tremendous job with the run fits and the things that they do. You look at all the formations, and we've certainly tried to formation these guys in the past, and they don't miss a line, and they know how to fit runs, and they're very, very well coached. And then, in special teams, they have, here we go, 2 of the best returners in the league. Kent Riddle is extremely well-versed in what he does in the special teams, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Riddle, always have. And so this will be a major special teams battle. This will be fun to see, and I don't know if it'll be fun for us trying to defend those 2 returners, but they are really good. So there you go. A little bit of recap and a preview into the Broncos. So with that, I'll go ahead and open up for questions.
You certainly did yourself a favor. Both times you were down by 2 touchdowns to answer immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that long pass, the first one.
Yeah.
It was just like, that's a big deal.
It was a big deal. I think it helps your confidence. One of them may have been a blown coverage, but we took advantage of it and had the right play called at the right time, and it's part of playing football too. Coordinators can make good calls, good call on Coach Yo's part.
You're always talking about, I know there's always game plans where we're going to take shots. It just seems like you hit on some really big shots this year at the right times.
Yeah, some of those are schemed, Al, and some of those are just kind of come within the normal calls of the game plan. The one to Jordan Nathan was not really a schemed shot. The one to Savon was. And credit to those 2 receivers, credit to the offensive line. I thought they protected Jordan very well. Jordan got sacked once and hit once. It's a pretty good night for a QB. Pretty clean. Well, I guess they're always clean. We play on turf these days. But, and a credit to Jordan Love. I thought they were excellent balls, and sometimes the hardest ball is the wide open ball for a quarterback. The one I'm talking about, the one to Jordan Nathan. That's easy to guide or overthrow a little bit, and he put it right on the money. It was a nice throw.
Let me ask you, you're not obviously mathematically out with 2 losses, but when you get 2 losses to both teams in your division, it's hard to win the division after that. Mentally, for your guys to play like they did last week and to get down by 2 touchdowns and be in that position, doesn't that say something about the guys?
It does.
Or something, because you kind of start to lose a lot. You're always talking about winning a conference championship, and you probably don't have a chance.
Well, we can talk about this, Al, because we're 2/3 of the way through the season, and so I do kind of know what we got in that locker room right now, and I've said it since the summertime that there's a good vibe in that locker room. I said it all through the summer. I meant it. Our players, there has been, we've lost 4 games. There has been no finger pointing. There's been no bickering. There's been nothing back and forth in terms of a negative attitude or any of that. They've stuck together. Quite frankly, I don't know if they really know that it's going to be hard to win the division. I'm not going to let them know that. It's social media. Mitch, you're going to tweet that out. I'm sure they'll know by the end of this. But the reality is you lose 2 games. They know that. They know what they do know is it's going to be hard to win the division. And so your back is against the wall, and we're fighting. And so this team's, I thought, responded in a great way. We had a lot of distractions during the week. We had distractions on Friday. That is a distraction-laden city. And I thought our guys handled it very, very well. And especially for having a lot of youthful kids. We have 4th or 5th highest first-year starters. starting a new, a redshirt freshman at QB. They responded in a great way. It was a good vibe in the locker room at halftime. And there is this morning too. And they know, Boise's a big opponent. They know it's a big game. They don't need anybody to tell them that. But they need 2 more wins to get to bowl eligibility. And they also know that crazier things have happened. I mean, we can't control a lot of the things that's going to go on in the division the rest of the way, but we can control Utah State. And if we control our attitude and our effort every single week, how we prepare, how we practice, and then go out and try to find a way to win a game, then we'll look up at the end of the, in November, and we'll see where we're at.
Matt, first of all, Jordan Nathan's the top of the Mountain West in punt return average. When this program was competing for WAC and Mountain West titles, a big key component of that was JoJo Natson was a threat in the punt return game. So, how big of a deal is it that you've reestablished that aspect of the program?
Jordan Nathan's done a really nice job in punt returns, especially with limited opportunities. Nowadays, and I talked about this the other night, nowadays in college football, you don't get very many punt returns. With hang time, especially where we play in this mountain region, with the altitude. And then, we've kind of become a punt block team more than a punt return team, and with all the blocks. And so when you do that, you limit your return game, and he becomes a fair catch guy. And so he's had limited opportunities, but the ones that he's had, he's done a nice job with. He's secured the ball and got out, and we made some nice blocks for him the other night.
This question comes from Kyle McDonald, KSL couldn't make it, wanted me to ask you, how important is it to get off to a quicker start offensively, and how do you do that against Boise State?
I think it's important to get off to a good start, but it's also sometimes that's not always measured in touchdowns. You get off to an efficient start. I mean, look at the game Saturday. We didn't score on the first drive, but we moved the ball and we kind of got going and we flipped the field and we punted it to them and put them down there in the negative territory. You're not always going to score the first drive. If we could draw it up perfect, we would score the first drive every time. I want to start fast. I want to start strong. But I want to, more than anything, especially with a quarterback going to start a second game, you want to start very efficiently and get him off to a good start. You want to be able to run the ball and protect him early. And, you may miss on your first third down, and we did this time. So our guys didn't get in the tank. To me, it's also about how you react when you get out there the second time as well.
This is a defense in Boise State, though, that's really on a roll right now. They're shutting down people, making it really hard to move the ball anywhere, pass, run, anything, right?
Correct.
So what do you see the run defense for them right now lately has just been terrific.
Yeah.
What do you see that they're doing that's making that happen?
Well, they got good players up front. I just mentioned some of them. 98's from Utah. He's a big old nose guard. I already talked about Moa and got Durant Miles from Bingham High School. 91 is a good. They just got good players. I mean, they're front seven. I mean, they're good coaches and they're good players. They fit the run well. Doesn't matter, who they've played. They struggled a little bit. They gave up a couple shots against Virginia and got behind, but they hadn't been gashed in the run game. Doesn't matter who they play. They've stopped the run, and that's why I think they're whatever they are in run defense, 20th, top 20. Yeah, and so they've always been that way, though. It's a good team. I mean, they're 5-2 and very easily could be 6-1. Yeah, they gave up some shots against Virginia, but they had the lead and could have very easily won the Washington State game.
You have you refer to it sometimes like a leadership council or something?
Uh-huh.
Is that a weekly meeting?
Uh-huh.
So is that, earlier you talked about all these things and 2 games away from bowl eligibility. Is that the kind of stuff you talk about in that meeting?
A little bit. Some of that. We talk about, it's a captain's meeting. It's our leadership council and our captains. They serve as game day captains. There's 4 grades represented, or whatever you call it, classifications represented, seniors down to redshirt freshmen. They've been in the program for a year. They've been voted on by their teammates. And they're the teammates that have been in the program for a year. I don't let the guys that just got here vote because they don't know. And so it is, we talk about discipline. We talk about discipline issues. And they have a say in some of the stuff that we do. We talk about leadership. We talk about where we're at as a program. We talk, about the immediate future and then big picture. And Coach Scholes and I, we meet every Monday morning, and we try to help, coach the captains, if you will, and lead for the captains and teach them leadership, and as best we can. And then I find out the toilet's stuffed in the locker room. It's been that way for a week, and I got to get facilities over here. Those things are so really important sometimes, Got to keep the locker room happy at times. Found out the locker room speakers don't work. They haven't worked for a couple weeks, and guys are starting to get upset. And so we got to get that ready. So we got to figure out a way to get those things fixed.
You've had a plan almost every game this year to get Jordan Love in the game. Now, do you have a plan to get Kent Myers in the game?
We did this past week.
Would you continue that defense?
I have not made that decision yet. Yep. We did last game, and Kent came in and played well. Yeah, moved the team down. We scored a touchdown. He scored a touchdown. We got called back with a penalty, and that was the plan, and we stuck to it. And there's things that you make in advance of the game that I think that you stick to if the situation continues to present itself with the parameters that you made the decision, and it did. That's why we put Ken in, and we stayed with that plan, and Jordan had played very well up until that point, and so we went right back with him. And so I'll get some flack or whatever, and maybe from you guys, and maybe it's merited. Jordan Love throws a touchdown, and I take him out of the game. No, that's fine. We had that planned. He had played well. Kent was going to have this series. We had a couple designed QB runs already ready to go, and they worked. So that was the plan. We went right back with Jordan, and he played excellent and stayed in the rest of the way. So,
looks like to me with Cozart for them, watching the games, you obviously think more about him running the ball when he's in there, like Kent or whatever. But the efficiency, he's thrown a few pass plays out of it, has really started to make it better offensively.
Oh, yeah. He's absolutely not just the designated runner. Rip and run zone read. I mean, they're going to run with Brett. And Brett's a great athlete. And Cozart is not just the runner. I mean, I've seen him pull it and throw. He can throw it on the run. He can throw run pass. They got glance post coming right behind run game. If you get your safeties nosy in the ball, to the ball, in the box, he'll pull it up and hit Cedric or one of those other wideouts on a post or on a glance post, bang post, whatever you want to call it. And that's what gives them a threat is both quarterbacks can run and throw.
Any season-ending injuries from this week?
No, none.
That's good.
It is good. It is good. And we're starting to get some other guys back, so that's good too.
Both you and Coach slaughter his name, Tomerdal, darn it. Both were really complimentary of Lawan Hunt and his ball security over the years. During last week's press conference, to see a senior like that come out there and play one of the best games of his career after really taking that hard on himself, how gratifying was that for you?
It was. I'm happy for Lawan. I thought he played well. I thought he practiced very well. He bounced back from the fourth quarter of the Wyoming game, which he thinks was his fault, and that's absolutely not it. But we as leaders sometimes put a whole lot of guilt on our shoulders for a loss, and I think that kind of comes with the territory. And I felt like that after Wyoming. He says he felt like that, but to see him come out and have 3 touchdowns over 100 yards, run the ball hard, great catch on the screen. He played his tail off, and Lawan has been a very, very consistent player for us over 4 years, and he's durable. I mean, he practices when he's hurt. He's field corn. He's a tough dude, and I'm happy that he had a great game.
Does Jordan love having that downfield threat kind of open up the run game a little bit?
No. Because if we can't run it, all they're going to do is put 4 in the box or 5 in the box and play coverage and bracket and cover 2. It helps our passing game probably more than anything. But, until now, if he does it consistently and Savon and Tarver and those guys are consistently making plays and teams start committing more, safeties to the passing game, it could. But we gotta play well up front, and certainly this is a big week to protect the quarterback and to run the ball. Those are Boise State's 2 strengths. They've done it against everybody. They've rushed the passer. They're number 1 in our league in sacks, and run defense. That's their strength. Is that front 7?
What do you think then is the big deal for your defense against them to have to do this week?
Well, we better do something better than we did in the first half, or it'll be 50-0 at halftime.
That's quite a drastic change. 300 yards to less than 100. So something must have changed.
We talked to them about their character and their heart, and it had very little to do with fundamentals. I thought we played poorly on defense in the front 7, especially the front 7.
Everybody tackled great.
I'm not worried about the secondaries tackling because we play hard enough and we run to the football around here that we'll cover up for missed tackles. You're going to have missed tackles. Lexington has done that against everybody. I saw him doing that against really good teams early in the year. You guys know who they played. I don't need to say it. But he made guys miss. If you run to the ball with extreme amount of effort and intensity, like I think our defense is built on, you can cover up for some of those missed tackles. But the stuff up the middle, that's uncalled for. That's embarrassing. Good? Any more? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming out.